I still remember the low groan of that old windmill bolt giving way under the wrench, the splintered pop of 50-year cedar, and my father-in-law Harlan whispering, "Easy, Jake. That's half a century of sun and storm you're wrestling, not some city ordinance." The air carried fresh-mowed grass, hot iron, and the faint bite of motor oil. It was one of those Saturdays that felt stitched together from every good memory a man could hope to keep. We were out back on Elmwood Lane, a quiet cul-de-sac in Chesterfield County, Virginia, where the mailboxes still matched and the HOA president still mailed paper newsletters nobody read. Harlan Reed, 81, Vietnam vet, former Alaska tracker, sat on the porch in his rocker, coffee cooling beside him, eyes sharp as ever. My boy Caleb, 12 going on 30, handed me bolts while I tightened the windmill base. The thing had belonged to Harlan's daddy, back when the only rules were a man's word and the county line. That morning, Harlan said something I didn't understand until much later. "Wind always comes back, son. Make sure something's still standing when it does." I laughed it off. Caleb didn't. He watched his granddad the way kids watch storm clouds. Trouble had started a year earlier. My wife Ruth got a certified letter about her garden gnomes violating architectural harmony. She tossed it in the trash. 2 weeks later, 3 men in black polos showed up. No badges, no smiles, just clipboards and threats of daily fines. Harlan met them at the door with a calm that could freeze water. They left, but one leaned toward Ruth and muttered, "We keep neighborhoods like ours clean." 3 days later, she collapsed in the kitchen. Stress-induced stroke, the doctor said. No charges, no answers, just an empty chair at supper. After the funeral, Harlan raised the fence 6 inches, installed his own cameras, and started a nightly patrol with a thermos and a Remington 12-gauge he cleaned like a surgeon cleans a scalpel. I told him to let it go. He looked at me the way only a man who's seen jungle ambushes can look at a son-in-law who sells insurance. Patterns, Tom. I see patterns. The neighborhood changed. Folks quit waving. Black SUVs with tinted windows cruised slow, idling at corners, then vanishing. Flyers appeared. Community Compliance Initiative, Eagle logo too sharp to be government. Harlan studied them like battle plans. "Font's wrong," he said. "Real agencies don't switch fonts mid-season." He kept a leather notebook. Times, plates, descriptions. Caleb's drone caught 2 men in Civic Shield jackets scanning houses. One looked straight into the lens and smiled. Harlan made a call to an old Ranger buddy, Captain Whitaker. "They're back, Whit." Same playbook, new letterhead. Whitaker told him to wait. Harlan hung up and said, "Waiting killed Ruth." Mrs. Langston from next door showed up one afternoon clutching a manila folder. "Harold, they cited me for grass height." Inside were fake inspection forms stamped Neighborhood Action Unit. Harlan's jaw set like concrete. "Keep copies, Evelyn. You just became brave." Nights grew heavy. Headlights swept the curtains. Footprints appeared along the fence line. Too deep, too deliberate. Harlan checked the shotgun, told Caleb, "If I'm not here and someone knocks, you don't answer. Ever." The boy nodded, eyes wide but steady. Then came the morning the world cracked open. I was tightening the last bolt on the windmill when tires screamed. A white Jeep with no plates punched through the side fence like a fist through drywall. Wood exploded. The windmill toppled with a hollow clang. Dust choked the air. 3 men in black tactical vests spilled out, mirrored shades, plastic badges glinting like costume jewelry. Structure exceeds 6 feet. HOA code 14B. The tallest one barked, swinging a baton that shattered our mailbox into kindling. The second twisted my arm behind my back. The third grabbed Caleb's wrist. "Time you learned compliance, kid." I heard the porch step creak once. Harlan stood framed in the doorway, shotgun cradled easy. "Showtime," he said, voice soft as Sunday prayer. Every head snapped toward him. "You boys chose the wrong yard. Let my family go." The leader sneered. "You're threatening licensed enforcement officers." Harlan racked the slide. The metallic ka-chunk cut the man's sentence in half. "Etsy." He stepped down into the yard. "I've got 5 years of real HOA notices in the house. None of them list your names. You're trespassing, assaulting, and impersonating. That's 3 felonies before coffee." The buzzcut thug reached inside his vest. Harlan fired into the sky. The blast rolled like thunder across the cul-de-sac. Windows rattled. Birds scattered. All three men dropped flat, hands up, face down, belts off, gear on the grass. Radios, wallets, laminated IDs, and a stack of Civic Shield citations clattered out. Caleb's phone was already recording. Harlan gave him a nod. Keep rolling, son. Truth, don't delete. Sirens rose in the distance. Captain Whitaker arrived first, badge real, eyes tired. Harlan Reed, you old dog. He surveyed the scene, shook his head. Clean work, Frank. These clowns have been hitting 2 other counties. You just handed us the jackpot. FBI showed up 2 days later. Civic Shield was a shell company, property fraud, extortion, identity theft. The ringleader, Dale Carver, ex-private security, fired years ago for posing as a deputy. Harlan's notebook and Caleb's video became Exhibit A. The trial lasted 3 days. The defense called it overzealous volunteerism. Harlan took the stand in his Sunday jacket. I didn't shoot them, he told the jury. I stopped them. My daughter-in-law died because men like these thought fear was authority. I promised her grave it wouldn't happen again. The courtroom went still. A retired Marine in the back row stood and saluted. Guilty on all counts. 15 years later, the windmill still turns behind the house on Elmwood Lane. The fence is oak now, engraved not this time. Chesterfield County named the new park Harlan J. Reed Field. The Baxter Act, state law against fake enforcement, bears his name. Caleb runs the Civic Shield Foundation from the same porch, teaching kids how to spot a lie wearing a badge. Every dawn I sit in Harlan's rocker, coffee cooling, listening to the blades spin. Some mornings the chair creaks on its own, like he's still keeping watch. I whisper the line he taught me. Come again if you want. We'll be ready. The windmill answers with a steady groan, the sound of a promise kept. What about you? When fake authority knocks on your door, do you open it or load the truth? Drop your thoughts below. Was Harlan right to meet force with force, or should he have waited for the system? Let's talk.